Hi, everyone. This is the February 1st, 2021 meeting of the Kubernetes SIG Docs localization subgroup. Thank you all for joining. And as you all know, our code of conduct, CNCF code of conduct applies. So everyone, treat everyone well and with respect. And thanks everyone for joining. So I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can see what's going on. And so, all right, people are adding their names to the participant list. That's great. So the only items that I had on the agenda was one, to follow up on status from open work items from last year. And then after that, an open discussion to see if there are any items we wanted to focus on for 2021. Welcome everyone. Is there anyone new to this meeting that's never been here before? I should start with a welcome. Let's see,
Hi, I'm new.
Yes, and who is this?
Irina.
Irina, is this your first time here?
Yes, it's my first time.
Fantastic, welcome. Is there a particular localization you have an interest in?
Yes, in the Spanish one, but I haven't started contributing yet.
Que bueno. All right. That's fantastic. Well, absolutely welcome. What we do here in this meeting, and you can look in the Google Docs and see the mission statement and what have you, is we have wonderful localization teams. Many come up with different innovations, and this is an opportunity for us to share innovations and collaborate, so each language isn't building the same tool over and over. I think that's a short summary. Okay, so let's start looking at the agenda. So we had some status items for last year. I don't know if Kaiming's here, but I did ping him and get his update. When localizations have almost all kind of proof state. So that was the item from Kaiming that he was working on, and there was a work item for him to document that, and he says we have a script that does the that handles the situation, and the script has a long comment in it for documentation. So one question might be if Irvi, is that enough documentation for people? Or does anybody want to make that more explicit and take the comment out and put it somewhere in our localization page? Would be my one question. But from coming, it is at least documented somewhere. Any thoughts from the group? Soko, do you have an opinion?
Actually, for those scripts, we have a README page for all scripts. So maybe Kimin can update that README for script, how to use that script.
Okay, so update the localization README.
I mean in Kubernetes website there is directory called script.
Yep.
And in that script directory there is readme.md, and I don't see description of that script as async.sh script, so maybe he can include some information in that readme as well.
That's a good suggestion. Okay.
The location is here. You can check.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I'm going to take as the action item Brad to see if Kai Ming is willing to do this, or Brad will find someone, maybe himself, to take an attempt at that, to make this update. Yeah, type this in. Very great suggestion. So cool. Okay. So let me just put the action item here in bold. All right. All right, excellent. Now the other items I think are Soko. So Soko, I'll let you describe where things are at for your work items. How's that?
Sure, why not? Actually, I supposed to do document to update the previous version of our document.
Mm-hmm.
In case of typo is very simple, and the previous version of our document is just a snapshot, so it is okay to update, adopt the changing typo. So I supposed to document that, but I couldn't do it yet.
Okay.
And there is open PR to update contribute to localization.md. As you can see the link. So currently one contributor updating localization.md. So maybe after this PR completed, I will work on to modify that document to include the snapshot versions typo PR.
Okay. So you want to wait for the one PR to get merged, and then then it'll be more appropriate to work on the update. Is that correct?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. Let's see if you want to say anything about that. So, okay. So I'll just put. Oh. Perfect. Okay, so I got that one done. Great progress. And then there's some more information here. So note that the China team uses a timestamp-based tool.
Yes.
So what's going on here? I want to make sure I follow.
Okay, we have discussed several script localization tools to keep synced with the latest English document. As you know, the English document keep changing, and in the meanwhile, localization team need to make a localization document. So those localization documents, localized document, sometimes it is outdated.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to update that. And in case of China, localization team, they use lsync.sh tool. And in case of Korean localization team, we use this deep localization branches. So the basic difference is that Korean Chinese team check the outdated contents for each PR, but Korean team use branch strategy, and we check it during between milestones. So it is the basic difference. And if you use this document, so generate a report of outdated content in localized content directory by comparing two localization team milestone branches. For instance, we use this script just after localization branch switching, Korean localization branch switching. For instance, dev 120 KO3. After we finish this job, we merge KO3 to master branch, and then we make another new branch for localization job is KO4. And during KO3's job, the English upstream document has been changed, and we try to adapt that changes to KO4 by using this script. So usage example is like this. This script is already in Kubernetes website repository. Script deep localization branches py, and you can use for other languages, but in case of this example, we use KO, and we check difference between KO3 and KO4. Then the output example is like this. So Brad, could you open that link?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it is a very simple one. So actually, I just made this issue, and basically after we execute this script, we can get a report, and it is just copy and paste of that report. As you can see, there are 20 outdated contents during our localization branches. So it has been listed, and you can check which one is very should be hard work. For instance, just one addition, one deletion is very simple, and you can easily update. But sometimes whole document can be changed. Then it is very time-consuming job. So based on this report, we share the jobs. We assign jobs to multiple contributors. So you can check in the bottom comment. Could you scroll down to the end?
All the way to the end?
Sure. And as you can see, someone we shared this assignment, and there will be three contributors for updating this outdated content. And if you check the related PR outdated files, this one,
Go back up.
Update that section. So we check the changes in English document, and then we apply it to Korean document.
Right. So the tool generated the list, and then did you manually create this issue and copy paste in what the tool creates? Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So this is a great process, right? So you've got a tool and you've got a process of taking the contents of the tool, creating an issue, and then giving folks the opportunity to sign up for work.
Right.
That's fantastic. Does any of this need to be documented, or this was just an education for the rest of the community here to see how the whole end-to-end process is working?
In case of documentation, so we described how to use this script is in that the script readme.md, but it usually is shared used by Korean localization team only. I'm not sure other localization team use our script.
Okay.
But I checked there are very similar tools are included in that script directory. So as you know, the stage or page of localization teams are a little bit different. We are not sure they are teamed up. In case of Korean localization team, we have regular meeting and we have regular maintainers, approvers. But so in case of Korean localization team, this process is nice, and we know how it works, and we know the script. But
Right.
I'm not sure the other localization teams. So, but
And you said the readme.markdown has a description for the script.
sure, as I mentioned in the async.sh script, we have a usage example here.
Right. So you put a description of how to use this already.
Sure.
So my guess is this work item is complete then, because you have a way of doing things and it's described in the README.
Oh, sure. Very, very simple README, but yes.
Okay.
And yes.
I was gonna say, any more work to do here, or you think this is completed and enough for the community to be able to know how to use it if they choose to?
Actually, this discussion has been initiated by the introducing Chinese localization teams script, the async, and we hope to check what is difference and what is pros and cons.
Okay.
So I put the pros and cons here. So actually, it is not quite related with the script itself. It is related with the branching strategy and how to keep up the latest document. But in case of our Korean localization team's branching strategy process, it is easy to maintain, and we don't need to run this script for every PRs.
Right. You just run it whenever you decide to see what the work is you need to do, right?
Right.
Very nice.
I think upstream English document may keep changing even in a single review process. So I think it would be very hard to maintain. And it is just can be done by a team maintainer, Korean localization team maintainer. Also, we can get, as I showed before, we can get contributions for updating outdated content as well. It's not the duty for only reviewers and approvers. So it's pros. And also we have cons. And there will be some outdated localization content during a milestone period. However, we can update them in the next milestone.
Mhm.
And in case of Korean localization team, it is about 2 weeks. So we need to ignore the 2 weeks outdated content.
Sure.
So it's a cons.
But there's always outdated content, right? That's a never-ending problem. Right?
Right.
It's like when the mail is delivered to your house. There's always more mail.
Right.
It never ends. Okay, this is great. So you did an investigation and you figured out the pros and cons. Um, um, the only thing I can think of is if these advantages and disadvantages should be documented anywhere, or we just leave them here. That's the only thing I can think of. But it seems like, um, did you have in the README? I didn't check, but did you have, hey, if you have any questions, contact the Korean localization team? Or I guess people would know to contact someone if they have questions. Or I guess they could come here and I would point them to you.
Any channel is okay. I watch any channels. So
Okay.
yeah, localization, select localization subgroup channel is always okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And so
someone
for
just,
go ahead.
just to ask a question, this script requires, I guess, following the same branching strategy as the Korean team, I guess. So you need to have a development branch that is upstream with the English version, and then you work on that particular branch, and then eventually you merge these branches to master. So you are checking between the upstream master and your dev branch all the time, I guess. So it requires this kind of branching strategy for the rest of the languages. For example, I'm from the Spanish team, and we are not yet following this strategy. We are more like working, we are a very small team, and we are trying to work like any pull request goes against master eventually. So we are not doing this branch because we are yet far to have the full documentation in Spanish. So maybe this is a requirement that should be here, that it requires to follow a particular branching strategy. And it's something that we can add to the Spanish documentation team to have this branching like standardized for all the teams, I guess.
Yeah, certainly it's it's one way of doing things, and if it's appropriate for your localization team, we want to make sure it's easy to learn how to do. I mean, I think that's the way I would look at it. I think the China team will always probably do it their way, but for new teams, they get to choose, and if this works, Raul, let us know if there's any more that needs to be documented. If you take a look at it and say, oh, this would be easier to adopt if you perhaps mention X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, I don't know if there is some documentation about your branching strategies for the Korean team, how you are doing branching when you decide to merge into master, this kind of life cycle of your documentation team. It's documented somewhere.
Not yet, but we have a demonstration actually in the first meeting of this localization subgroup. I explained how Korean localization teams branch strategy works. So maybe I need to document
Yeah, that
for
be
branch strategy, and
Okay.
I hope to share actually.
I
But-
remember you already share it in the channel.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is actually a PowerPoint PPT presentation slide, and it can be also shared. And if you need more documentation on that, then we can also provide it.
That would be
We
great.
are happy to share it. Anyway, I will share the presentation file again in the subgroup Slack channel.
So where are you going to put it, Sohu?
Select subgroup localization subgroup channel. I will
okay.
share it.
Oh, in the Slack channel?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean the presentation file, PPT file that I shared before.
Mhm.
I will share it again.
Yeah, the existing PowerPoint, right?
Sure.
I wonder, I mean, is there anywhere in the repo we should put that or no? Is that possible, or what does everyone think? Is that a good idea, a bad idea?
Well, I think there is a document in the documentation page. There is a section about localizing. So each team has a place to put how they are working, their strategy in the documentation that is live in the website. Maybe that's a good place to put this kind of how the Korean team is working on branching his approach, maybe.
Actually, in that document, I think you are mentioning the contribute to localization MD file. There is a suggested branching strategy. There's a description, and actually Korean localization team follow, and we are a reference of that branch strategy. So maybe you can document the Korean localization branch strategy first, and then maybe you can check it with the contribute to localization.md in the website.
So you think the material's already covered, Soko, in the contributing?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
yeah, that document is very briefly introduce how Korean localization branching strategy works.
Mhm.
Maybe I can share it quickly.
So can I just put also documented on the, what did you say, contributing.md page?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's good. Did you want to share your screen?
I think I can provide the link so
Oh, okay,
then you
good.
can check.
Mm-hmm.
Is the file.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
That's okay.
one is much better. So you can open. Could you open that?
Oh,
link?
absolutely. Yes.
Mhm. So as you can check, there is section for branch strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So there are some examples, but this procedure is very similar with Korean localization team's branch strategy. So you can simply check, but maybe we can improve some descriptions for that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is just a guideline for branch. One example of how localization teams work. There are other teams doing differently. So this branching strategy is just an example.
Gotcha. Okay, so Rael, you can go look here, and if any suggested updates, but they've got it pretty well covered, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that this information was here, so
Yep.
happy to
Mhm.
to see that here.
Okay, fantastic. Should we move on in the agenda? So we got that. I think what's next was, I think Kohei was going to investigate if the Korean tool will meet the needs of the Japanese localization team. I don't know if Kohei is on today. So I'll have to follow up on that. Let's see. Adoption. Starts for localization teams to look into adoption of adding prefix. Okay, so I believe, all right, so let me mark this one. Right to follow up with Kohei. Okay. Yep. Put these in brackets. Okay. All right. So on the next one, localization teams to look in the adoption of adding prefix for the pre-art titles. I think teams started to do that, correct?
I'm not sure.
You want to share?
I'm not sure, or
Not sure,
teams are
not sure.
applying. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see if teams are starting to do that. I'll have to follow up on that one. So that would be interesting. And okay, and then Soko, it looks like you added some items here below.
Yes.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Okay, first one is Korean localization team started representing names of translators for blog content. As you know, in blog content, we put authors' names, and we try to we are in the above one. I mean, localization teams prefix. Brad?
What's that?
Brad, do we are we discussing about the localization prefix or the next topic?
Well, I think we'll go to the next time. It looks like you're willing to use, the Korean team is willing to use, right?
Sorry.
That's okay. So it looks like, so I should say with other teams. And I'll put Korean team is using this, right? Korean team will use.
Yeah,
Sorry
but
about that.
we agreed to use, but we hope to have a same rule. I mean, apply same specs decided by localization subgroup. So we are not applying yet, and we will apply once the rule is determined.
If others choose to use it too, right?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll see if we'll follow up there. So Spanish team, thank you, Rael, is willing to use it.
Yes, we are currently using the path for the file, so we have like /s/ the document, but we can add the prefix, then a dash and the path to the file.
Okay. So there's two, Soko.
Yes, okay.
Yep. So we should just make this a recommendation, right? Does that sound good? Should we make this a recommendation?
But if the commit, if we use the prefix, then it is a little bit different with commit message convention. So is it okay?
I'm not sure I understand how
I mean, we provide commit message, Git commit message,
right.
and we usually use that Git commit message in PR title,
Mm-hmm.
but the prefix for language looks like not following Git commit message convention.
Because the idea is having this prefix on both the pull request name and also in each commit message.
I'm not sure, but we usually, I mean, when we make a single commit
Mm-hmm.
with commit message, then we push it to our website repo, then the automated PR title is same with commit message.
Okay.
Yeah, so somehow they are aligned. Commit message and PR title is aligned.
Mm-hmm.
But for
Yeah,
me,
I think
yeah. Okay, right.
the pull request name, I think it's something easy because the maintainers and the owners can edit the pull request and apply the convention. But commit message, it will be harder because, for example, at least in the Spanish team, we are usually new faults coming all the time. So having them to follow this policy on the commits can be a lot of work because they usually like do regular commits and then we try to help them do a squashing and merging and get it into single commits. But having a naming convention for each commit message might be something hard to apply. Yeah, I think the pull request name it's okay because it's something that we can manage and we can enforce in some way. But the message will be really, really hard to apply or enforce, I think.
Right. So it doesn't hurt if you do have a team that puts it in the commit message, it doesn't hurt anything. It's just the one we really want to see it is in the PR title, correct?
Right.
Okay. So do I need to document that somewhere or so okay to put in git commit message as well, but recommendation is that it be placed in the PR title. Does that make sense? Did I capture that correctly or no?
It is correct, but my concern is that it is hard to guide to new contributors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, in case of Korean localization team, we don't guide PR title, but they usually use a nice PR title because we know there is Git commit message convention. So since they follow that convention, it was okay, but
maybe something that we can try to help this is to put in when you open a new pull request, then Pro gets you a message like welcome, nice having you here, this is your pull request. Maybe want to add some information there. The following conventions should apply, or we recommend to use these conventions, like the pull request name should have this name, some kind of message there. So when a newcomer comes to the repo can get this information.
That would be nice.
Right. So you want to put it in the top a suggestion message, right?
Yes, it is. Thank you for your request. Maybe you can, aside from the CLI information here, we can add this kind of. We recommend you to use this kind of convention, a kind of informational message, so the people can get this information that we know because we are inside the teams, share it with anyone else from outside.
So the thank you for pull request message, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now I'm trying to remember where that's created. So when they hit create pull request, the pull request that has it right at the top, correct?
Yes, or maybe we can even add a new section just for localizations team. So in the CI, because I guess this is run by a CI, there's this message for the thanks, the preview for Netify. There are a lot of things running. Maybe we can add an extra step just for the website. And this extra step is information about how documenting or how to work with the documentation repo.
So, I mean, would you just have a little section that said, if you are creating a PR for a specific localization,
For example, yeah.
please add the prefix?
Yes, or yes, just random information. For now, maybe just the prefix, but it can be helpful for in the future have a section to be able to add information for the new comments.
Mm-hmm. So is that what I need to take back to the SIG Docs team, because they would know where to put that in, right? That's something we want to come in automatically, correct?
Yes, I think
Okay.
it's in. Well, probably it's somewhere in the CI. I don't know if we use Netfree, GitHub Actions, or. But yeah, it's something that needs to be added in the road repo.
Okay.
In the road path of the.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we try and agree on what the language should be, and maybe write up what we think the language should be, and then I'll take that language and go work with the SIG Docs chairs to see how we get that added into the CI.
Yeah, I think even we can raise this conversation to the Slack channel. Maybe other teams have all the information that they think that should be added, or even the English documentation team thinks that there are some general information that may be useful for anyone reaching the site.
Right, but we ought to try as whichever way through the Slack channel if you like. Let's just try and agree on what the language should be. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So do you want to lead that conversation, Rael, and we'll all chime in and see if we can get the little statement that it should say. We can do that on our Slack channel, and then when we're happy with what it says, then we can take it to SIG Docs chair and see how we get it in.
That would be great. Yeah, I will try to get hands on that.
Okay, so our little action item that says AI Rael to lead discussion in Slack localization channel on the message that should be added to the PR welcome message, right? I don't know what the right term is that, but PR welcome message, and then action item, Brad will discuss with SIG Docs on how to implement. How's that?
Great, perfect, thank you.
Okay, excellent. So we'll try and get the language right, and And then we'll go from there. Okay. So I think we got that one covered. Soko, do you want to go to the next item?
Yes.
Okay.
We hope to share this action, and Korean localization team started representing names of translators for blog content. As you know, in blog content, we provide author's name, and when you translate that blog document, we will put translator's name as well. It is, we thought it is useful for promoting localization contributors for blog contents. Actually, in Korean localization, we have only one blog post, translated blog post, and we hope to add more.
Mhm.
So we already discussed this in SIG Docs meeting, the previous SIG Docs meeting, and we have agreement with the participants. So we hope to share this one. So okay.
So help me to understand. You have a specific blog article that lists the names of the translators? I'm trying to understand.
I mean, when we translate English blog post,
Mm-hmm.
We
You add to the
added-
translated version the translator's name.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah, including the original author's name as well. Sure. Yeah, we added.
Okay. So if I wrote a blog article, which I never do because I'm lazy, but if I wrote one, and let's say Ryle decides to translate it to Spanish, so the blog article would be translated to Spanish, and then it would say Brad Topol translated by Ryle.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so
That's
we
very nice.
include
So the translator gets a little credit for the hard work that he or she did.
Right. So,
Okay.
yeah, maybe it is useful to other localization teams.
That's a great suggestion. Okay. So yeah, let's
I think
see
it's really nice because, as Brad said, it's a hard work, and this kind of recognition for the one translating, having your name in this article will be like a really good gift to the folk doing the work.
Thank you.
I capture that
Yeah,
properly.
perfect.
Beautiful. So we'll just call that. Okay, so we got that. Okay, very nice. And then I think you have one more item, Soko?
Yes, the final one is maintainers from Korean localization team hopes to be involved in website milestone maintainers team. Actually, milestone, the functionality is useful for Korean localization team. For every Korean localization branch, we make milestone. We create milestone, and we, after finish that branch, then we close the milestone. But currently we are using GitHub GUI for creating milestone and assigning milestone, assigning PRs to milestone. So we are not using the milestone pro command. So So to use that milestone pro command, we need to be involved in the website milestone maintainers team, GitHub team, and we don't know how. So is there anyone who know how to add names in the website milestone maintainers team?
Irving, are you on the call? I don't know if we lost Irving.
Yeah, I think she left. There's a
Okay.
message in the chat saying that he had a meeting.
Oh, okay. So, so how are you currently doing it if you don't have the ability to do it?
Actually, I'm one of maintainers, so I can do. I can control the GitHub GUI. As you know, we can create a milestone by clicking a creating button, creating
Okay.
milestone button. So I usually do that.
So
But
you do it from the GUI? Is that what you do?
yes, I do. But maybe it is not the recommended way, right?
Got you.
So yeah.
So do you have a recommendation for what should be done that we should take back to the SIG Docs chair? So for example, should the localization lead be given access? Is that what you're recommending? I mean, how many people need to be able to run the prowl/milestone command?
Yeah, actually, I'm not quite sure, but usually members in Korean localization members who work on branch switching job, they sometimes require us to use milestone functionality. And currently, to do the milestone branching, branch switching job, we require to have maintainer authority. So currently there are 3 maintainers in Korean localization team. So they can use the milestone GUI currently. So maybe for this moment, that 3 members are enough for Korean localization team, but I'm not sure for other teams.
So it sounds like you have a solution for the Korean team because you have 3 maintainers. So one of those 3 maintainers always creates the milestone.
Yes. So
okay,
for us, 3 members are enough.
So there really isn't an ask from the Korean team. It sounds like the Korean team has a solution.
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, do other localization teams have this issue, I guess? Is that the question?
It's not the question, but I'm not sure. And as I know, at least one localization team maintainer is involved in that milestone maintainer team. I saw a guideline how to initiate localization. In that document, there is kind of the kind of description to initiate a new localization or localization team. At least one contributor will be added in the website milestone maintainers team. But in case of Korean localization team, now we need 3 members to be involved.
Well, 3 means you're guaranteed there's somebody around to do it when you need it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the question is what I'm trying to see is are you suggesting that the it be updated documentation wise to say, hey, each team, make sure you have somebody who can be on the website milestone maintainers team. I'm trying to capture what the ask is here.
I want to know the procedure to be involved in that team, making a issue in Kubernetes community. I'm not sure how to do that. I just
So
want to know the procedure.
the procedure for what, being able to create milestones or being on the maintainers team, the milestone maintainers team, is that the question?
Yes, once we are involved in website milestone maintainer team, then we can use the milestone pro command. I checked it, I know.
Okay, so this is the real question right here.
Right, the final one.
Okay. So I can go ahead and take the action item to go ask the SIG Docs, if you like, or you can if you want. Let me know what's best.
Yeah, I think I can check through the Slack. We don't need to discuss it in meeting.
You don't need
simply
to
ask.
On Slack? Okay.
Yeah, I will ask it to
Okay.
SIG Docs Slack.
Okay. Yep. On SIG Docs. Okay. Okay, so we got that highlighted. Okay, great. Looks like we are out. We used the full hour. So I'd like to say if there's any more issues, but we're kind of out of time, but we can cover them in the next meeting. Any last real quick issues that need to be discussed before we close for the day? All right. Well, great meeting. We filled the whole time. We got some action items, and we'll see everybody next month. I'll do the quick thing. 5, 4, 3. I'm really terrible at that, so I'm not going to do it. We'll see everybody next month. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep. All right. I'll stop sharing and end the meeting.